It's the SKOR North Twins Show. Baseball.
They're playing baseball. They haven't won baseball. In fact, the Twins have been ahead for, I think, only one inning so far in 4 games, which was Sunday is when they were ahead. They have been tied or trailing in every other inning through 4 games. Other than that, and Willie Castro ripping the cover off the ball, it has not gone according to plan through the first 4 games for the Twins. Hit that like button, subscribe button. It's a Trevor Plouffe, Coach Trev Tuesday here on the SKOR North Twins Show. John Boy Media, Twins TV broadcaster. All right, Coach Trev, I saw your tweet yesterday. You said, is this score real? Like, is this real? Is this actually happening? Are they down 9-0 to the White Sox? Yes. They are down 9-0.
I wasn't watching, so I had some stuff going on yesterday, so I just looked at the score, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, this is a team coming off the worst season in baseball history, and we were taking guys out after 1 at bat. It's obviously has not gone well for the Twins whatsoever, and I think I might be the perfect guy to talk about this. People reminded me did we really start 0-9 in 2016?
Yeah. I mean, clearly we weren't going to bring that up, but since you did. Yeah, you guys started 0-9, but then you rattled off 4 straight wins to show some fight to get back to 4-9, and then the wheels came off again after that.
I'm like trying to remember exactly what was going on. I believe we were at one point we were trying to give Molitor his first win, and that took a while. That wasn't that year, was it?
No, because he came in 15. In 15, you guys
we
were
might have started
really
0-4 in 2015 as well.
The first few games in 16 were all nail biters. It was like 3-2. So the series in Baltimore, it was 3-2, 4-2, 4-2. And then Kansas City, first game, 4-3. So it's like, oh man, these just got to get that one extra hit with runners in scoring position. And then it was 7-rip, and yeah, it was. So you guys, then you rattled off 4 straight wins, but then, oh man, by the end of May, you guys were 11-34, and at that point, Terry Ryan was a few weeks from just stepping down from his second stint.
Yeah. It is somber. I don't know if there's another way to describe it. In the clubhouse, you try. I mean, 0-4, you can still say, hey, it's early and it's, we're going to be okay, guys. The weather's been a factor. We really haven't been able to hit outside. Routines have been thrown off. But 0-9, let me tell you something, man. It's hard to shake that. It becomes very, very difficult. Yeah.
There you are.
It's lonely.
I remember doing that, and I literally couldn't move. I wanted to go inside, but I was so mad at myself and the team. I just I couldn't move. I was stuck right there. Now I look back, I wish I didn't do that because there's all sorts of pictures of me doing that.
Now you're being
but you're contemplating, but it looks like you're mad, which is good because it looks like you care deeply, which you probably did.
And we were probably all like, oh, look at much Trevor cares.
Good look.
Yes.
I think it's a good look. While his teammates are back in the clubhouse showering and getting out of Dodge, Trevor Plouffe deeply cared about the fact that this team was off to a bad start.
Oswaldo Arce is over there smiling, but Trevor's still in the dugout with his uniform on.
I think I was we should probably practice a little bit more. Let's get back on the field, guys. What are we doing here? Yeah, I don't know. It becomes difficult, and I'm sure we'll get into it, but nothing has gone right. Not one thing has gone right for the Twins. I guess Willie Castro. You can say Willie Castro and Randy Dobnak, but even that turned into a horrible look for the Twins. Yeah. You understand it as a business move. You need to have guys that can throw long innings, and he just did that. They know he's going to clear waivers, so he's going to go to AAA. He'll probably be back up at some point, but even that success story turned bad. We're talking bench players, our role players, I would call them, are 1 for 17 on the series on the season. Buxter, Wallner, Correa, France combined 3 for 40. The pitching staff has the 5th lowest K per 9 and the 5th highest walks per 9. Yeah. Their K to walk ratio is 1.41. Wow. It's every single thing that can be going wrong is going wrong. So I don't know if you take solace in that or you're just what the shit?
Yeah.
Well, the starting pitching is concerning too because Joe on Saturday threw well, but besides that, but Trev, here's my question that I'd like you to answer from the perspective, if you can, of a guy that played. Okay, so it's a bad start. It's 4 games. Like you can make a very coherent case. Hey, they're off to a bad start, but it's 4 games of 162. But is that the thinking, or is the thinking? Hold on a second here. We won 12. We went 12 and 27 to end 2024. Showed up at spring training. Everything was going to be different. Things were tweaked. We were going to take batting practice. We weren't going to do this. We were going to do that. And now you're off to the start. It's largely the same team. So is this an 0-4 team, or is this a 12-31 team? And as a player, how do you think about that?
I think you put last year in the rear view, and because it's 4 games, you just say it's 4 games. And I thought we were talking about the team, and he said that is why it looks even more bad than it does, is because of how they finished last year carrying over. People are remembering that. Obviously, the offseason wasn't great. The TV situation has been like, nobody knows where to watch the games, which is kind of crazy. That's not a great look for them. But yeah, I mean, I think as a player, you wash it and say it's 4 games. And again, Morney did point out, he's like, they haven't been able to hit on the field at all. And that's something they did every single day in spring. So the routines have been thrown off. Maybe you count that as a reason offensively. There was good defense played against them in St. Louis. So I guess you chalk it up to a little bit to that. But like I said, 4 games you can wash. And it starts to go on longer than that. It becomes like, what are we doing here? Here's my thing. I actually don't mind that they took out Buxton and Correa, but that means they better play today and tomorrow. Like they got to play both of those games, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that too, because the game is mathematically almost certainly over when you're down. Was it 9 when they pulled them? 9-0.
Yeah. Yep.
So I get it. And those guys you're trying to preserve their health and whatnot. It's also just kind of a crazy white flag to wave in the 4th game of the year. So I was very much I thought Buxton was hurt at first, but then when you realize, oh no, he's not hurt, it's a weird white flag. I'll throw this out there too, all right? Not to be super negative, but before the season, a bunch of these websites came out with like different odds and like the first manager to be fired and whatnot. And on one of them we saw last week, Rocco was the second most likely manager to be on a hot seat. Because the late season meltdown thing has happened twice in 3 years. Not to put that all on a baseball manager, because it's not like a football coach who can't draw up plays or whatever. Like you're at the mercy of whether guys win their matchups at the plate sometimes. But they've melted down twice in 3 years, and now they're off to this 0-4 start. And I do wonder, like, at what point does that become an actual conversation behind the scenes that, hey, maybe Rocco's not the voice to lead this clubhouse?
I have such conflicting thoughts on managers, because on one side, I feel like, yeah, they don't affect the game very much. I mean, there's pitching decisions, but those are largely decided upon before the game. Here's the lanes that we want. And every once in a while, you have to juggle those. That's kind of what a manager has to do. And then it's really like setting maybe like a tone, like an attitude, I guess like an identity. Like he can be part of that. But other than that, like a manager talks to the media and is kind of like, the face at certain events. And that is a lot of his job. Like Rocco doesn't really step on anybody's toes as far as going in, and he's not in the cage helping with the hitting. He's not in the bullpens helping with the pitching, like he's roving around, but he's doing manager things. So if I'm saying he can't affect the game necessarily in a positive way, then like, can he affect it negatively as well? They kind of go hand in hand there. So as far as him, like, would a change help? I don't know, man. Like, I think Rocco is prepared. It's not like he doesn't prepare. This is what changing a manager does. It makes guys sit up in their seat a little bit, like, okay, like I could be next. Like that's what it does. Do they need that already 4 games in?
It's early now.
The end of last year, maybe. I don't know. I like Rocco personally. And again, I think I watch him work and prepare, and I don't think he's underprepared whatsoever. So I can't really put this on him. I can't.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily either. It's just going to be, if we're sitting here in 0-4 is way too early, but if we're sitting here in a week and it's like 1-9 or something, or whatever the games play would be, my biggest thing from a front office standpoint that I thought was obvious, and maybe he deserves more than one start, but Chris Paddock feels like he should be a bullpen guy to me. He hasn't had an effective, whether it's durability or effectiveness. His last real impactful season as a starter was in 2019 in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark in the country in San Diego. And he ran out there yesterday, and like those dudes were dialed in on everything he was throwing. They were laying off everything that was close. So credit to the White Sox, but that's one of the most hittable starting pitching performances we've seen in a long time. So, I mean, how long are you going to let the Paddock thing? I think it's like they're trying to make it a thing for 3 years, but that struck me yesterday. That was a first guess. I don't know that he's fit to be a starter in 2025. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's been some tipping issues in the past with him. I'm not saying that was what was going on yesterday. They were taking some close pitches, but at the beginning of the season, like going into spring training, we had this call, this Twins TV call, and all of the broadcasters and reporters were on it, and we were talking about like rotation and stuff. This was like in the middle of spring training, and to be honest with you, and maybe this was a little bit of me being naive, but I didn't even really have him in the starting rotation. In my mind, if I'm going, here's the best 5 pitchers, I know Festa didn't have a great spring training, but like I put him in my mind over a Paddock. And again, I know they brought him in, rehabbed them, and they wanted this to happen, so they're giving him a chance. But I tend to agree with you. Like if it's going to go like that, he can't continue to be in the rotation.
Yeah,
I hope it changes. But
he was throwing like upper 90s out of the bullpen for a minute, wasn't it? Was that last year, Dex?
2 years ago, going into the playoffs.
It's like, whoa, this dude's throwing gas. If it's 22 pitches, man, cut it loose. And
he's got to be so fine right now, and that's not exactly what you want, out of any pitcher. Like if you have to be perfect for your stuff to play, man, it's not going to be perfect. Like what do pitchers say? You have 4 starts where you have everything working, 4 starts where you have nothing working, and everything in between. Like if that's going to be the case, then maybe there's I don't know, man. It's so early. I feel like we're overacting a lot. He's had one start this year. Bailey Ober was sick. Shouldn't have been pitching. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why?
Thank you for that.
Like, why do we do that?
He was hooked up to a damn IV on Friday, and they're like, well, he said he felt good on Saturday.
Poor guy.
How are you going to say that?
Alcala got nailed by a ball in the arm, his pitching arm, right? And these guys love to rush out there and check on guys, and he says, I'm good. And of course he's not good. Like, you always take those guys out, dude. He got nailed in the
don't listen to
pitching
player
arm.
when he says they're good. Like
Exactly.
That's another manager's job, is to be like, no, you're not. Let's go.
Correct. Come with me.
There's a bone sticking out of your skin. I think we're going to pull you out again. Yeah, this is becoming Bailey Ober's thing now too. And if he was sick, he was sick. But this is now the second straight year where it's going to take him 4 months to chip the 8 runs.
He will.
I know he'll have like a 3.5 ERA on August 12th or something. But.
That's why pitchers love rate stats. They're like, you know what, like throw that one out. Look at what I did the rest of the year.
Yeah,
we're all good.
I mean, even this is like remarkable to me because it's both sides. We touched on a little bit in the beginning. So Twins pitching staff, I saw this yesterday. I looked this up. On 2 strikes this year, so through 4 games, so sample size is obviously pretty small, but on 2 strikes, so when pitchers are ahead in the count for the most part, they have the worst whip in baseball. They're averaging 1.53 whip when they have 2 strikes. And when Twins hitters, conversely, when they're ahead in the count, which again, advantage hitter, if you have a head in the count, they have the second worst OPS in baseball. They're batting 147 when ahead in the count. So some of this too is just like, yeah, it's not working, it's bad, but also like there's no shot over the course of a baseball season that's going to remain the thing, right? Like obviously it's going to eventually have to regress back towards the mean, towards something that is positive.
Yeah, I mean they're going to win games. They're eventually going to win.
They're going to win at
games.
least 60.
Well, the
you guys
2016
did.
team
You
won,
won 59,
59 games. Yeah.
Golly, I was hurt for a lot of that year. Okay, every time I started to get going, I got hurt.
You know what?
Each man for himself.
I
was out.
Just since the 2016 season was brought up here, just to shine a positive light on that year, we're going to quiz Trevor Plouffe right now, and we're going to put Trevor Plouffe on the hot seat. You guys, did you know you had 11 hitters have double-digit home runs on that team in 2016?
Was that the Brian Dozier year?
Yes.
42?
Yes.
That's one. 42.
Do you want me to name them?
99 ribs. How many of the 11 can you name?
Oh, shoot. 2016. Okay. Me.
Yes. You had
I
double-digit home
got
runs.
I just snuck in, didn't I?
You played like the half season. You got it, but you had 12 homers in a half season. Yep.
Okay. Me and Doge.
Oh, I got one, I think.
Arcia?
There's some great ones in here.
It's got to be ours. Yes.
No, Arcia was my guy for a pick to click for like 3 years there, and it just. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong button. He only had 4 home runs that year.
All right.
Oh, really?
Dude, he looked, man, like he'd hit 400-foot opposite field home runs in spring training. You're like, man, this dude.
Eddie Escobar.
Eddie Escobar only had 6 home runs.
What?
That year. 9 left.
Polanco.
Jorge Polanco had 4 home runs that year.
God, I am doing this. Okay, let me keep going here. Miguel Sano.
Sano had 25 home
There you
runs
go.
in 116 games. Yeah.
Okay, keep going. Who was on that freaking team?
Oh, your left fielder.
Was it Willingham? Was he still there?
No, he was not.
Is
No,
that
yeah,
what you're
no.
talking about, Judd?
Why
No,
am I
I'm
thinking about left
I'm-
field?
That
The
was
left- the left
Rosario by
fielder-
then, right?
Oh, Eddie Rosario.
Okay, yeah. So he's in there. There was another guy who apparently played enough left field to qualify as a left fielder who had double-digit home runs as well. I think he's still playing.
Did Joe
think he is
Mauer
still
have?
playing.
Did Joe Mauer?
Joe Mauer had 11 home runs. First
you go.
baseman Joe Mauer.
Nice.
Yeah,
Left fielder who
6 left.
You're saying like was a random guy, huh?
Kind of a random guy. I believe he was a switch hitter, if I remember correctly.
Kenneth Vargas?
One of the more underrated. Kenny Vargas also hit double-digit home runs on this team. 10.
Not a left fielder though.
Definitely not a left fielder.
Definitely not a left fielder.
Oh my
Thank God.
goodness.
No. So there's 5 left here.
Oh my God, my guy. Why can't I remember his name right now?
Is he the left fielder you're talking about?
No, he played shortstop. He went to the Red Sox. Why can't I? This is like my buddy.
He was an all-star
Yeah.
this year. Yep. In 2016.
Just name him, Dex. I can't.
Nunez. Eduardo Nunez.
Eduardo Nunez. His helmet is still laying between first and second base somewhere.
I absolutely love that guy. 2016. Who else was on the freaking team? I feel like I named him.
Okay, there's one like
You blacked it out.
There's one that is just
don't blame him.
hilarious on here that you'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that guy. There's another one who's kind of under the radar, who's carved out a really long major league career, working counts, just grinding it out. And then there's 2 complete household names from the last 10 years of Twins baseball. One that's still in the lineup today.
Max Kepler,
Max Kepler is one of them.
Byron Buxton.
There you go. Yep. Oops, those are wrong buttons right there.
Who's made a career out of having just great at bats?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
OBP
think anyway. Am
guy.
I right about this?
Yeah. Yeah. Great. A
Just
solid
just
OBP
a
dude.
grinder, dude. Just
Yeah.
pine tar.
Oh, Robbie Grossman.
Robbie
There you
Grossman.
go.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
a great,
wow.
great
And then
description of him.
I don't think you're going to get this one if you haven't already, but
it to
Park
me.
Bang at 12 different times. Byung Ho Park. 12
I was
home
thinking
runs.
Byung Ho, but I thought that was 2015. Okay.
Like I said,
Some of
you
the
blocked
best
it out.
power I've ever
Bang,
seen.
dude.
Like real raw power. And like he had to put the bat on the ball, but
We went on a run there, I feel like. It was, they went to Japan for Nishi, and then they went to Korea for Byung Ho Park, and just didn't quite work
He hit a
out
ball
with that.
into that center field club, right?
yes.
Yeah.
He was
Yes.
the first person I've ever seen do that.
Drilled it in there. I think he hit a fan.
Fan tumbled out.
I think he
into-
took out a fan. I think
I think he hit the monitor because I was at that game in those seats because I was working for the poll ads at Go Radio at the time. So I was
Oh,
actually at
wow.
that game. Yes, I remember
Wow.
that very vividly. Yes, I remember that.
Did you know?
vividly.
So Byung Ho Park is still playing in the KBO in 2025. So they
Yes,
played
I
8
did know
games. He's got 3 jacks in 8 games as a 38-year-old for Samsung in the KBO.
Somebody I saw asked Haesung Kim, the new Dodgers player, who his like all Korean team would be, and they named Byung Ho Park as like all time guy.
Yeah.
He's absolutely
Big
crushed it
star
over
over
there.
He's closing in on 400 career KBO home runs. In fact, the 2 years before he came to the Twins, he hit 52 and 53 home runs with OPSs over 1,100.
Dude, he was a big dude, strong. I liked him a lot.
See, we're always going to have these great memories of the 2016 Twins.
The team is doing so poorly this year that we're talking about the 2016.
I've got one. I've got one
Okay.
that's not about the current team. Your thoughts on, and how long have you known about the torpedo bat, which I hadn't heard of until Saturday, but it turns out it's been around.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm one of the guys who didn't really know about it, I guess. And it's been interesting to see who has known and who hasn't. Like Manny Machado's I've never heard of that. But guys used it last year. I think Stanton used it last year. It has been around. And this is what I'll say. I think it shouldn't even really be a story. It just really shouldn't be. Because first of all, not everyone's using it. Not everyone likes it. And then if you really think about a bat, they're all different shapes and sizes. They've been that way forever. This is just another iteration of that. So, that's kind of like my counter to pitchers saying this is cheating. I think it was Trevor McGill that came out and said, something. But it's okay. Pitchers haven't hit for so long, and they did that to themselves. Thank gosh they did. They don't remember bats. A C271 has a thin barrel and a regular shaped handle. A C243 has a massive barrel and a smaller handle. An M110 has a thick handle and a thicker barrel. There's an axe handle. There's a flared knob. There's a tapered knob. There's a cup. There's uncupped. They come in all sorts of shapes. This is not anything new. All they have done with this is say, we're going to hook you up to a machine, because you can't just order a torpedo bat and just say, give it to me. That's not how this works.
We tried that with Judd a couple days ago. I don't know.
You can't
I
just
gotta have a
order
torpedo
and say,
bat right now.
"Give it to me."
I don't care what time it is.
You have to go. You should at least go in and get measured. And for guys that concentrate their barrel accuracy on one part of the barrel, that's where they would kind of move essentially the sweet spot.
Okay.
But if you're a guy that uses kind of you don't have one concentrated spot, you won't even really be able to use this. So it's just another iteration of a bat model. It's a different shape bat. There's nothing illegal about it. There's nothing crazy about it. And I do feel a lot of times with stuff like this, there is a placebo effect.
Yeah.
Ellie De La Cruz said he never had swung one before. Then he swings it in yesterday's game and hits 2 homers. And he's a stud. He probably would have hit those homers anyway.
Right.
So I don't know, man. I think because what the Yankees did to the Brewers, it became a story.
That's the thing. The Brewers, just the fact that you can serve up that many meatballs in a 3-game series and people blame it on the bats being potentially illegal is boy, our pitching staff was so bad in that series. People thought the equipment was illegal. Holy cow.
Yeah, and around the league, Lindor, I believe, was hitless, at least as of yesterday. He's been using it. Jeffers, I talked to Jeffers about it. I put out a video and he DM'd me and was like, hey, the Yankees aren't the only ones. I've been using it. And he's like, I'll just keep using it in secret. And then all of a sudden Jeff Passan texts me about it. And he starts talking to Ryan Jeffers. And now Jeffers is in Jeff Passan's article, so it's not a secret anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a nothing story, and it's just been made into something crazy. I saw Dave Portnoy, the Barstool guys, on Fox News talking about fucking torpedo bats.
They need to limit ruining baseball. Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
of course,
great.
they bring the hardcore Red Sox fan on to talk about why the Yankees are cheating.
Exactly.
And
Rafael Devers might need one.
Yeah. Well. Oh man. Yeah, he has. Did I see the stat?
15 case.
That Tony Gwynn once had 15 strikeouts in 600 plate appearances in a full season, and you got dudes now striking out 15 times in opening weekend. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, no, it's caused such a strong reaction, and I like that for baseball. It's great to have stories out there and people talking about it. Pitchers are complaining, and they're just they're such babies, dude. I can't stand pitchers, but yeah, to me, it's nothing. By the end of the year, yeah, whatever. Some guys are going to use it. They're going to do well. Some guys are going to use it. They're not going to do well. And it's okay, that means it's every other bat.
Yeah.
Right.
Trevor, how long do the because I saw Correa yesterday say hey, we're not going to deviate, and Rocco kind of doubled down too. We're not going to deviate off our process. It's 4 games. We've hit some atom balls. We just saw a very unlucky stat that I listed. But when does it become a point where it's like, okay, maybe we do have to change some things here if this is not going to work and we can't find the damn grass? Like, how long does that go until, as a player, or maybe as a coaching staff, you start to make a decision of, okay, let's start to approach things a little bit differently?
I mean, it's really hard to just completely change what you're doing. Like, you set your routine, you want to stick to it, and you want to believe in it. So to completely blow it up, like, it kind of like something drastic has to happen. I think more than anything, they'll just kind of at one point have fun with it and say, we need to like play without pressure. And, whether that means, I mean, stupid stuff. This is not going to happen, but like everyone uses the same bat, or maybe everyone takes BP with the same bat, or you completely shut the clubhouse down and say, let's have a show and go. Like, things like that will probably happen before real changes in the routine have happened. And as I mentioned, like, they made it a point of emphasis to get on the field, hit every day, run the bases, and they haven't been able, according to Morneau, they haven't been able to do that at all. So I think they're probably waiting to do that. It's been frustrating because as a guy who called for it last year, their hitting process is supposedly changed. They want to move runners. They want contact. They don't want to strike out. Right now it's 9 walks to 32 Ks, so that really hasn't been working. I want to see that process work, and I think it will. But to answer your question, like drastic changes, maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's another 0 for series. I don't know. Maybe that's when you start to think about things. But even then, I think it's probably too early still to really change up your routine on a level, because you really try to dial that in and work hard to keep it as long as you can. That's why you trust the process. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you trust it a little too long, but that's kind of what you have to do at that level.
Yeah. Dex, let's shout out to Element before we go further with Coach Trev here.
That's right. Element Hotel, a great little spot that you can go find in the North Loop. If you're coming in for a Twins game, go check it out. Element Hotel, it's just steps away from Target Field. You can book a room rate too. We have a nice little deal going for SKOR North listeners too. So if you go to skornorth.com/element, you can get 15% off your room rate. Any Astros fans that are making some last minute treks to Target Field for the opening weekend, go check out Element Hotel, skornorth.com/element for a 15% room rate.
What if they all just grew Mickey Gasper mustache? I feel like the 80s mustache is coming back in Major League Baseball in a big way.
I like it. That's something you could do. Some hair stuff. I'm into that. I did that in 2012. I was the worst. I was such a bad player. I shaved my head. I started hitting homers. Sometimes that's all it takes is just you just switch some random thing up like that.
You shaved your head?
Mm-hmm. I had long hair, buzzed it. Anthony Swerve buzzed it in the clubhouse.
You had the flow, yeah. I was going to say, that's nice hair to shave.
What I would do, and whatever. I was not like some freaking awesome hitter, but when I was going through slumps, I would change out cleats, batting gloves, everything, try to like just feel new again. I mean, that's all the silly stuff that you'll do as a hitter. I would bring my bats into chapel on Sundays sometimes. You get desperate.
Have them blessed by the priest.
Man. But hey, some bunt knocks can get you out of a slump. Like there's all these things you can do as a hitter. And to my knowledge, I haven't really seen that happen too much, but I bet it's coming.
I don't think they've bunted yet. I think if you're getting no hit by Martin Perez through about 4 2/3, I think someone's got to do something.
He's the perfect guy to bunt on a lefty. He's got to turn around to throw. Like that's the perfect guy. He doesn't throw that hard. Like perfect guy to do it on.
Just deaden one right out there.
Oh, yeah, that was quick.
There he is.
There he is.
God bless Google. Just Trevor Plouffe, long hair. First image that pops up.
And look at how young you are.
You guys had those. What were those like little kind of choker
necklaces?
Fighting
necklaces, yeah. That was a thing for a while. That looked like it was like right around Mother's Day then.
You guys, that was also early in the Under Armour era too. You had that might have been like a 4th of July situation.
Yeah. Some dry fit.
It was pretty early on because I remember that a couple days later I got put in the starting lineup and hit a homer and then hit another one and then just kind of went.
Was that right before the 2-month run of glory?
Summer of Plouffe.
The summer of Plouffe.
Made my career right there. That's all you got to do, guys.
Leading Sports Center every night.
that June was incredible.
It was a blast.
Smoking the ball.
So maybe they got to shave their heads. I don't know.
Yeah. Shave them. I'll do it. Yeah, do whatever it takes. I don't care. I'll shave my head. Shave my head.
He's already bald. What does he care?
Yeah, seriously. Coach Trev, appreciate you, man. Love having you on the SKOR North Twins Show. You can go check out his work at John Boy. Go follow. Hey, by the way, you got way too much flack for the whole millennial pause thing. And I, by the way, never even heard of that term. Like I know, I guess I've seen it. I didn't know that's what it was called. The millennial pause.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm just trying to film a video, and then it's gonna happen. I've seen it happen to other people before, where like you just do something you don't know you're doing, and the young kids make fun of you. It never happened to me, and then now it's all over the place. They
Wait,
call
what
me
is
punk.
what is the millennial pause?
Okay,
Like it's like right, you're filming, and there's like a good 2 seconds before you start talking. Isn't that's what it is?
yes. So you
Yes.
press record, and instead of talking right away or editing out the dead air, you just wait for it, and then you go. It's millennial pause.
We're
So
making
it's
fun
like
of that.
it's showing us that we're old. And Judd's Are you Gen X, Judd, or what are you?
Yeah, what are you?
Gen X, right?
1969 birthday.
I'm Gen X.
And you do more selfie videos than any of us.
The
but
boomers
you do.
The boomers went through 65, so yeah, I'm Gen
The
X.
Gen
You're
X
almost like a
pause is
legit
like
boomer.
4 years away from being a boomer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
The Gen
we,
X or the boomer pause is like
Are we all
fumbling with the
millennials?
phone
The rest
while
of
you.
us?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Dex, even you?
Yeah, I'm 92. Yep, I'm at the younger end of the younger end of the millennial. Yep.
I'm 85. I think millennial started at 82, so I'm 1985.
Okay.
And then what are you late 80s?
I'm 86.
86.
86.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're turning 40.
I know it's a big
When?
spring here.
You guys are
May
kids.
20th.
You kids.
Yeah, it kind of feels in some ways it feels like my life is over once I hit place. I've always felt like the younger guy.
It's half over.
Dude, you know how you feel old, and maybe you
Hopefully.
feel this sometimes. Like because I started doing media and radio when I was like 18 years old. When I covered you guys, I was probably like 25. When you start going into clubhouses and it's like, oh, I'm 10 years older than everybody in here. Or in Judd's case, I'm like a generation and a half older.
I was gonna say I am. Yeah, it's incredible. There is no one even close now.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like, boy,
not
JJ
even like-
McCarthy is literally 20 years younger than me.
Oh, he
on the
could
Vikings.
be my kid easily.
It's crazy.
Yes.
I have
Maybe.
to constantly tell myself, don't act like back in your day. Like because there are things I'm like, what is going on here? Like I don't like the millennial pause. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's just things that each generation does that's a little bit different. I was talking to my buddy Tyler Heineman, who hit like a game-winning homer for the Blue Jays. You know, he's been up and down his entire career. I used to work out with him at Pepperdine, and I was like, "Hey, man, nice hit! Like you pimped it." He's like, "Oh yeah, I felt so bad about that," and I'm like, "Why?" And he's from like he's played long enough now where he's from that generation where like you didn't do it,
Yeah.
especially if you didn't have a bunch of them or whatever. And I'm like, dude, that's not the way the game's played now. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like you should have just freaking did a cartwheel. I don't know, like whatever you want.
A cartwheel,
I would
crotch
have
chop.
freaking. I would
crotch
have
chopped.
loved to be able to showboat some homers, man. There are some pitchers I hated. And you hit a homer against them.
Well,
I
you
would
hate most of them.
Yeah.
I would have been, miserable. I would have been just a so bad.
What would be your go-to showboat move if you were playing now on home runs?
Slow is the funnest one. Just a real slow jog around the bases. You know, these guys now, everyone's shouting the bullpen out in the dugout. You got your Euro step around third. Like I don't know. I would have just
Oh, I didn't know about that.
Oh,
The Euro
yeah,
step around
the
third.
Euro
Euro
step.
step is.
The Euro-
I think
I've never
think
thought about
Miggy
it like
Cabs
Yeah.
inadvertently did that. It wasn't a Euro step with him, but it was like I
Yeah.
don't know, man.
Yeah. Do you guys was it like 10 years ago when Jose Bautista hit that home run in the Blue Jays Royals series?
Royals. Yep.
And this super intense playoff game, and he hits a jack, and he primal scream and chucks the bat. And I remember watching, thinking, "Oh my god!" Like they're
Yeah.
gonna go to his house and hunt his face.
In
Do
fairness,
you remember we did this against Jose Ramirez? Like one of the first years he was up, hit a homer off of Ricky Nolasco, and kind of showboated it. And dude, Kurt Suzuki, Molly, and Brunansky were like top stepping him, yelling at him so much that Terry Francona took him out of the starting lineup the next day because he knew that we were going to hit him.
Yeah.
And he went. Jose Ramirez, by the way, who's a Hall of Famer, one of the best players in the league, every single year, top 5 MVP, went up to Ricky Nolasco in the outfield during BP the next day and apologized to him.
Wow.
Really?
And Ricky was like, like apology accepted, but I'm going to hit you next time.
Yeah, because the public needs to know that
Ricky Nolasco didn't care enough about baseball to hit.
I love
hit
Ricky.
him.
Ricky's a good guy.
Ricky liked his muscle cars. But the one thing that people forget is this. So in the 87 World Series in St. Louis, there was a guy who I believe was actually at the Cardinals opening day by the name of Tom Lawless, who homered against the Twins and did a bat flip. And it's still talked about.
in the World Series.
In the World Series, and he was a nobody. Like he was not a he was a utility guy, and he did a bat flip, and he is still to this day not been forgiven. The other one was though out on the West Coast in the 80s. The Giants had an outfielder by the name of Jeffrey Leonard, and if you guys recall, there was his famous flap down. So he would homer and then go like with his arm flap down to celebrate. It was awesome.
So it's like the opposite of Edwin Encarnacion,
Yes.
who keeps the flap up the entire.
It flap down.
Okay.
I feel bad asking you this because I'm gonna age you right now, but we had our guys at John Boy, Jimmy and Jake, during COVID when there was no baseball. They went back and watched like World Series games from, I think they started in like the 70s and just kept going. And the one thing they came away with was they couldn't believe how many times people bunted.
Oh yeah.
And they said, you know what? All this stuff about showboating, he goes, you wouldn't believe some of the shit guys used to do.
Yes.
He's like, I don't know how Dennis
Reggie.
Eckersley can get on TV and complain about guys showboating. He used to shoot you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and Reggie,
Like, what?
Reggie bat flipped.
He said that they were like, there's
yeah.
so much showboating going on. I can't believe this is the way they talk about the game now.
And the only difference is that would at times result in fistfights.
Yes.
But like this whole thing about how you don't now the unwritten rules existed, but they were broken, and that would lead to fights. There's a clip of Reggie. He hits a home run. I forget it might have been against Cleveland. Anyway, he rounds the bases, and I think because he bat flipped, someone says something. The pitcher says something to him. He scores the run, charges the mound immediately, sets off a bench clearing brawl. The Red Sox, I think it was the Red Sox, Thurman Munson was catching or Fisk was catching, and someone collided with him. It started a huge, great brawl. And that's the thing that we don't get now.
Yeah.
Go watch the old school brawls.
That's
Trev.
here's the thing. We got smarter. Okay. Like who wants to be suspended and lose money? Who wants to get hurt in a brawl and lose money? It's like, hey, let's continue to have fun. I think my tone has changed on this so much since I've become, on the other side, like a fan now. Like, let the guys have fun, dude. The kids want to see that.
Yeah.
The kids want to do that. And you can say, oh, it's bad for the kids. It's like, is it really? Who's it hurting?
Yeah.
Right.
What are we doing?
But your point about the fact that the old guys say you can't, you shouldn't, we didn't, is BS.
Yeah, but you're right, though. If they did it, they
fights.
broke the rules, but there were rules.
Yes. It would just
And
lead
then
to
you got
fistfights.
hit or somebody got hit.
Correct.
So
One last thing on this subject, and you were in the lineup on this day, but do you remember it was like May of 2010, and you guys had a 15-0 lead on the Brewers, and Carlos Gomez, making his first appearance back at Target Field after getting traded, hits a 3-run jack in the 8th inning to make it 15-3. And he trash talked the entire stadium. He slow walked out of the batter's box. And I just remember,
was that my debut?
it may have been.
21st?
It was May 21st of 2010.
That was my debut. That was my debut.
Yeah, you were 2 for 5 in that game.
I had a great debut.
Nice little day.
Yeah,
It's great.
no, it was
But
insane. But I don't
Carlos
remember the Carlos
Gomez
Gomez homer.
absolutely pimped a meaningless 3-run homer to cut the lead to 12.
It's very much.
And
like
I just
Carlos
remember
Gomez.
you guys top stepped it and absolutely chirped him. I don't know. Maybe you were celebrating your 2-hit debut back.
I was just like, yeah, I was feeling great. No, nothing could bother me that day.
That's a good day.
I think Orlando Hudson was probably on the top step chirping someone. But
Yes, he was. He probably chirped me. Jeez, man.
From the millennial pause to chirping to bat flips, all the topics covered today. And maybe the Twins will win a game by the next time we talk to Trevor Plouffe. Maybe multiple games. Maybe we'll
If
get
not,
greedy
we'll
here.
do some more quizzing on the 2016 Twin pitching staff. Maybe we'll see.
We'll just go down the list. Phillies, Rays, all the Trevor Plouffe stops in his career. We'll just go there. Appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe button here in the SKOR North Twins Show. Be talking at you soon.